Everyone, my name is Quek. I am from University Science Malaysia, based in Penang. So my topic today is going to be about seahorses, and part of my final year project is seahorses in Penang. This project is not only done by my university, but some of my supervisors are from different institutions. One of my supervisors is from Shed Aquarium, Dr. Loh, and also Adam from Seahorses. So this is a joint research with two other very famous seahorse research institutions. So let's begin. Today my talk is divided into three sections. First off, I'm going to give you an introduction to what seahorses really are, and then I'm going to talk about Penang Seahorse Survey, my final year project. And at the end, I'm going to talk about the iSeahorse.org platform, a platform where you as citizens could contribute to seahorse research. So you don't have to be a researcher to share about seahorse knowledge. So, seahorses, what exactly are these weird and wonderful creatures? Well, I'd say the media has glorified seahorses for a long time because, you know, horses, we think of horses as something we can ride on. So the media has these images of Little Mermaid riding a seahorse, or, you know, SpongeBob on a pony, or even Aquaman on a seahorse. So maybe I'd like to show you guys some things where you would see seahorses in daily life. They're very charismatic creatures, so you can find them on logos like Ojibol, there's a seahorse mattress, or Seamaster. And if you were living in the 80s, there's this band apparently called the Seahorses. And also some big cities like Miri uses seahorse as their mascot, whereas the Penang Swimming Club has seahorses in their emblem. So seahorses are people like seahorses in general. So what are seahorses? How do people here think seahorses are horses? No one? Okay. Or how many people here think seahorses are fish? Fish, okay, I see fish. How many people here think seahorses are a combination of horses and fish? Okay. Seahorses are actually fish. They're bony fish. They belong to the family Cygnethidae. And Cygnethidae actually means a fused jaws. So if you notice, seahorses have very small jaws. And they're from the same group as pipefishes, leafy sea dragons, and pipe horses. They have very small mouth and they eat by sucking in their prey. Alright, so seahorses come in a variety of forms. One of the forms here is seen Hippocampus gutulatus, very elaborate. The males are more elaborate than the females. And closer to home, there are some species. On the left, you can see Hippocampus cruda, the common seahorse. On the right, the reddish one is the Hippocampus kelogai. And these can grow up to like 30 centimeters, one of the biggest in the world. And maybe dive photographers would be interested in these guys. The pygmy seahorses, very pretty, very beautiful. They only stick on certain types of sea fans, so they're very specific. Up here, can you spot the seahorse? Anyone? I had problems first, but it's actually this thing here. Yeah, very hard to spot. So, like I said, seahorse has a lot of cousins, right? And these are some of the pictures that I got from my friends and some of my own collections of the sea dragons, the cousins of seahorses, the pipefish, and also the pipe horse. So seahorses are very different cousins because of certain characteristics. One of it is they swim upright. So pipefish, meaty sea dragons swim like this, but seahorses swim like this. So it's like a freak of nature, even among their cousins. Their head is 90 degrees to their body. Like leafy sea dragons and pipefish, they're basically 90 degrees. But seahorses like a horse. They have a prehensile tail. So if you look here, it's actually hanging on to coral. And that's the uniqueness of seahorses, and that's why they're so hard to spot. You have to look at the base of the coral or base of the seagrass where their prehensile tail actually wraps around it. And their body mostly consists of bony skeleton. This is a picture I took in the Natural History Museum of a seahorse skeleton. They basically dried it and they removed all the skin and the appendages. So seahorses are found worldwide. That's a uniqueness. That's why they're so important. They're found all over the world with a very high diversity in our region, the Indo-Pacific region. Malaysia itself has 13 species of seahorses, mostly in Sabah and Sarawak because the coral triangle, they're very rich, right? On the peninsula side, we have about 6 species. And where can you find seahorses? Everyone wants to find a seahorse. Everyone wants to see in the wild. So these are some of the areas where you can find seahorses: seagrass beds, coral reefs, estuaries, and mangroves. And if you notice, nowadays, these areas are vulnerable due to intense development. That's why now is if you want to conserve seahorses or conserve life in general, now is the time. Yeah, so what's up with seahorses? Maybe I can show you a video, make it more interesting. Fast forward a bit. Yeah. So this is a video of seahorse birthing. Interesting, right? Makes you think. These guys are fish. Horses don't give birth like that. Okay. So back to so there's a bit of gender confusion, if you notice. Can someone tell me which one is the male and which one is the female? Here. Who says on the one on the left is the female? Who says the one on the right is the female? Wow, okay, most of you are quite good. Okay. So yes, the one on the right is the male, because you can see here there's a bit of skin, a bit of appendage. That's where the pouch is. So in seahorses, males give birth instead of females. And here you can see very obviously this guy is super pregnant, full of seahorses, ready to go anytime. And so, because of their unique life history traits, they garner increased attention. People are more interested to know about seahorses rather than, ikan keli or some scat or jack. So there are very good flagship species for conservation. And hence, that's what we're doing in ICOS. So seahorses are threatened. They list 10 species as vulnerable. 1 is endangered, where 26 are data deficient. So we need your help in this region. And they usually caught as bycatch. Fishers go out to catch tuna, they go out to catch different types of fish, but seahorses ended up in their nets like this. And they're harvested also for traditional Chinese medicine, but also people want them in their aquariums because they're unique, they're cute, they're charismatic. And in Curio, you see here there's a yo-yo with a dried seahorse inside. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my project, the Penang Seahorse Survey. Bear with me. So when I talk about seahorses in Penang, people will be like, this is not possible, the waters are too dirty. Because Penang is mostly known for food, known for the tourism spots, known for Quek, the Penang Hill, DB maybe. Penang, seahorses are never on their mind when you talk about Penang. For the benefit of those who don't know, not so familiar with Penang, Penang is located on the west coast of Malaysia and divided into 2 parts, the island and the mainland. My survey is done on the island and also specifically in the Penang National Park vicinity. So despite having known to hold seahorses, very little is known about the event studies are carried out, in Penang. The last specimen was a tiger-tailed seahorse. You can see why I call it tiger-tailed seahorse. In 1971, can you imagine that? And my research is going to be used to inform the Penang Green Council, which is the environmental arm of the government, as well as to fill in gaps in Save Our Seahorses database, also and the ICOS. So my study aimed to identify and characterize possible seahorse hotspots. So we define seahorse hotspots by places that we find more seahorse relative to others. So there was a survey in Hong Kong where they dived at 32 sites and they only found 5 seahorses. Mine was a bit better than that. And to determine seahorse diversity, distribution, and relative abundance of Penang Island. So we're all in the dive conference, so you might be interested to know more about the dive surveys, right? We dived along a fixed transect, collecting data at a shallow depth of 2 to 3 meters. And if visibility was bad, we just had opportunistic surveys. We just swam around. And once a seahorse is found, we try to ID the species, and we take measurements. So this is Penang National Park. It is the smallest national park in the world. It's so small that even the waters of the national park is gazetted as a national park. It is also an area of high human activity, so there is a concern for seahorses in the region. When you go diving, you always ask how good is the visibility? But here you might, it's pretty bad. Can anyone guess how bad is the visibility in meters? No? Okay.
1 meter.
It was less than a meter. It was like at times like at arm's length. This is our transect. Yeah, and that's a picture at the spot. So it's pretty bad. And from our dive surveys, we found out that there are certain. This is the types of Gorgonian sea fans and macroalgae at the area, and we found 10 specimens from 2 different species. With a total active search time of 148 minutes per diver. We had 4 divers on that day. And this is a video of the seahorse. Maybe you can. This is after we take the measurements, we release the seahorse. Prehensile tail trying to grip onto the coral. Sorry, Gorgonian, soft coral. There you go. So that was in our study site. So the second approach that I used was the fisher interviews. I went to the fisher ports and interviewed respondents, and if there were any dried samples of seahorses, because they're so rare, right, I would measure them, and I would leave the fishermen with a kit, a sighting kit, with ID kit as well as a ruler, so that they can ID their own seahorse. And when the seahorse is caught by the fishermen, they would give me a call, and I would go to the port to collect the data. And this was done in a total of 14 ports in a span of 6 months. And in that 6 months, I measured 207 seahorses, dried seahorses. So these are the seahorse species found at ports. This is the most common one, the tree-spotted seahorse. And they have this hook-like facial spine that differentiates it from the rest. The second one is the common seahorse, the same one I found during the dive surveys, reported at 4 ports. The tiger-tailed seahorse reported at the one port that was close to the dive site. So they might be only found at that certain area. And a surprise, there was a Japanese seahorse, Hippocampus munike. This is the second known location that is found, because initially people thought it only found in Japan or Korea, like in that area. But now they've been finding it up to India. So it's a bit interesting. They have this very short snout. I thought it was broken at first, but apparently it is a different species. And from the interviews, we get some local knowledge from the fishermen. 92.5% of fishermen interviewed reported catching seahorses, with an average catch of about 6 for artisanal fishermen that don't go so far out per year, and trawlers about 20 per year. This is an average, so there's a huge error there. But most fishermen, the good news is most fishermen in Penang, they release their bycatch, so the impact of the catch isn't that bad. Also, comparing bycatch from 10 years ago, a lot of people say that it has been decreasing seahorses, but 1% mentioned an increase. I think that's probably, they don't catch that many anyway. Main reasons for decrease is the trawler encroachment. So in Malaysia, right, fishermen, the artisanal fishermen, the fishermen that don't go so far out, they can fish from 1 to 8 nautical miles. And trawlers fish from 8 to 15 nautical miles and 15 onwards. So the encroachment, a lot of trawlers come into the 1 to 8 nautical miles and trawl. And you know, bottom trawling is terrible for the environment. It removes all seahorse habitats. They kill the gorgonians, they kill the corals. So and they reduce the income of artisanal fishermen. So there is a concern on seahorses as well as the income. So this is a visualization of the artisanal data I collected, where the red is the the pinker it is, the more probability you can find seahorses from the data I get. And you can see here where the area is a bit more pristine compared to the east coast, you can possibly find more seahorses. Whereas down here in the east coast, where there's a lot of coastal degradation from development, if you've been to Penang, the light development is here, and then there's the Penang Bridge here, there's another Penang Bridge here. You can find there are less seahorses reported at ports. Yep. And so when you talk about conservation issues, like I said earlier, trawler encroachment is a main problem. So if you've seen any trawler, I mean, you guys are divers, you've seen trawlers out there, you can help us by reporting to the APMM, which is the Malaysian enforcement agency for like nautical law. Also, another problem with conservation is that the trawler mesh sizes has been in law since 1985, but until now it's not really implemented. So the idea is that the bigger your mesh net, the more seahorses or the more like juvenile fish can escape. But the smaller the mesh, then they can get everything. Last but not least, a lot of coastal development is happening in Penang because of a rapid infrastructure and real estate development. So it's quite sad to see like shiny buildings or like big property estates replacing the seagrass or areas that used to be quite pristine, especially mangroves. Penang has almost stripped of mangroves on the east coast. So my take-home message from my research is that seahorses can be found in the most unlikely of places. Like initially they thought Penang didn't have any. I was a bit worried because it was a pioneer project, but apparently there are, and they're in some more pristine places. Seahorses are also seahorses are threatened not only by traditional Chinese medicine, but more so in general by the fishery industry. So don't always blame the Chinese lah. So and last but not least, urgent management strategies have to be put in place to better protect seahorses. So the last part of my talk today, I'm going to talk about ice seahorse, how you can help seahorse conservation. Ice Seahorse is a brainchild of Project Seahorse, working with a shared aquarium and sponsored by Garden Chocolates, working with Zoological Society of London as well as University of British Columbia. So Ice Seahorse is actually a global platform where you can upload your seahorse sightings. So if you go and dive and see seahorse in the wild, you can go to iceseahorse.org and there's a very easy to use user interface to record global sightings. First, you have to register as a user, and after that, you can just upload your pictures online, even if there are no pictures. So this is an example of a report on iceseahorse.org. Here you can see a picture, and then they will ask for the species. Everything is up there. There's even the species ID kit. There's the most common seahorses, or even the methodology to carry out your own seahorse survey there. And now even there's an app on the iTunes as well as the Android app to record your sightings, to learn more about seahorses, and to register via social media. So it's very convenient for those more tech-savvy younger generation. And many people ask what is the use of the data collected, right? Well, the data used is to study the full distribution of seahorses. Like earlier when I mentioned Monique, we thought it was only found in Japan, but now we find it even up to India and the Andaman Sea. So it'd be very useful to use this knowledge to better inform governments on how to manage their marine resources. And we also can learn more about seahorses, their behavior, their morphology. A simple picture of a seahorse can tell you a lot. Like what species it prefers. It might prefer this species rather than this species of Gorgonians rather than this one, or maybe its mating season or whatnot. Because the date and everything is all there, right? You can access that online. And also, there's long-term monitoring carried out using the iCeos trends, which is something new that my supervisor is developing. Whereby there is an easy-to-learn underwater and port survey methodology online. People can go and download it, and then they do their own surveys, something like the Penang Seahorse Survey, at the port that they choose. Now they have already developed a training course for seahorses at www.udemy, I don't know how that's pronounced, hopefully that's correct, .com, where you can go online and you can get like a certificate of seahorse understanding. You understand how seahorses are, like they ID the species and whatnot. And for divers out there, you can take the PADI Specialty Seahorse course, which is offered by certain dive companies. Right? In Thailand, they're doing it. In Indonesia, they were doing it as well. I'm not sure about Malaysia yet. And so, before I end my talk, I want to acknowledge these people. My supervisors, Dr. Nurul from USM, Dr. Low from Shed Aquarium, and Adam. They have been helping me a lot to finish up my thesis and allowing me so many opportunities, like the one I'm here today. Also, the Fisher Survey volunteers who helped me go around Penang and collect data. The fishermen of Penang Island, of course, they've been very, very cooperative in providing me data. The dive survey volunteers, Edmund, who is here today, and a few others. Also, generous donors who have funded my project. The Net Geo Young Explorers Grant, Penang Green Council, the Perhimpunan for having me, as well as the organizers at MIDE here today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give a talk. Sorry, thank you. I'll be happy to take any questions if you have.
All right, there was Mr. Quek right there. Hey, I have a question. I'm not done yet.
Okay, not done.
Yeah, of course. A seahorse research, I'm sure it's very, very interesting. Eh?
Right.
So I'll probably have a very, very basic question.
Sure, no problem.
In terms of what depth does normally you get the seahorse, visibility? In terms of their
distribution?
Their depth, yeah, the distribution.
Okay, so that's a very interesting question. So the depth is very species specific. Some are found closer to shore. The one that I find in Penang is barely 3 meters, 2 meters, 1 meter. When you dive in, if you find a suitable substrate, they might be there. And up till 40 meters deep, the Hippocampus kelogai, the largest seahorse in the world, is found at 30 to 40 meters deep. Yep. So a very wide range, depending on species.
Alright. Okay. So any questions, you guys? Yeah. So okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Another question.
Yeah. I was looking at that birthing process just now, right?
Right.
So would you normally estimate how many, fetus or whatever it is that you call it? At one blow?
Okay, one blow.
Yeah.
One blow. The video that I stole off YouTube. Yeah. It says that species, that particular individual, let go 1,800 babies. Yeah.
Okay.
Like 1,800.
And did they basically live on?
They're like fish, so not all survive.